Welcome, everybody, to Targeting Winners. We are back, getting ready for this upcoming football season. A couple months away, and now we're going to look at some win totals for this year. We also have an announcement. We are now tentatively on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube under Targeting Winners. No camera action yet. We're still working on getting the cameras and all that set up, but you can get the audio version of this. As always, if you mind liking and subscribing and doing all that thing that all the Mr. Beats of the world will want you to do. Darren, Peter, how are you guys today?
Good.
We are still trying to get Tim camera ready, so we'll be there eventually. He's just not quite ready yet.
I'm going to get that filter that Sherry uses to make her look 20. You get that
Maybe just go to an avatar or something.
You don't need that avatar, Tim. Come on. The only reason we have you on this show is because of your sexiness.
I'm gonna go Gene Simmons, just put the makeup on and be 1978 all over again.
You know what? If we ever do like a weekly things where like the loser has to wear something stupid for the videos, that's a great one for if you ever have the worst week. You dress up.
I don't have enough room in my closet for that.
Gene Simmons
outfits I have to buy if I have the worst week.
Just take something out of Mo's closet. She probably got all that stuff.
No, if Tim has a bad week, he's just dress in Miami gear. He'll be fine.
Oh,
that'd be fantastic.
We got to save that for like an 0-3 week. I mean, we don't really want to,
That's for the big week. That's right.
Yeah.
So, well, our first 6 episodes have been up on the YouTubes. We've got some comments here. It looks like Pete, you've got a hater. We got an Ohio State fan commenting already. So that'll be something to watch for this year, saying that they're going to actually win this year on talent and they won't have to cheat. So that'll be fun to watch.
They cheated for years under Urban Meyer, but I guess they apparently forgot about that. But that's okay. We'll have fun with the Buckeyes as we go forward. I mean, I don't disagree they're a better team this year. Just saying that if they want to pretend they didn't cheat, I mean, come on, look back at what Urban did. So we're good.
First of all, as somebody who has a bet on Ohio State to win the whole thing, that dude is my new best friend. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. We also, of course, we have someone crapping on me. Can't wait for Tennessee. He says to dog walk Florida, and when Florida only has 4 wins. So after what I said,
they're not even going to have that many. Dude is right.
Well, I hope he's right. I mean, I would love nothing more than for Tennessee to dog walk Florida and just like 54-3 or whatever it is, but. Sorry, not going to happen. I mean, death taxes and Florida beating Tennessee. It's just the way it is. So
not this year, bro.
But no, we seem to have a couple comments. We got looks like we got the South Carolina fan talking about Lenora Sellers, and all over. We got some Big Ten, SEC. We got a Big 12. We got a guy who agrees with one of my over/under picks this year. We'll get into that a little bit, and we've got one guy who thinks Kansas State will have I don't know if he meant in the country or just in the Big 12. He said he'll have the best backfield and the best O-line.
I read that comment. He was like, those two don't know anything about Kansas State. I would just like to go on record that I was not one of those two. I was glorifying Avery Johnson as the MVP of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So yeah, you guys can go back and listen.
I think
you guys are K-State haters. I don't see it.
Nobody's hating. Nobody's saying that offensive line is really good. They're just in a tough position, and I that's the issue. There's nothing wrong with them. I just think they're in a tough place.
They lost KT Sullivan. My Los Angeles Rams have drafted him in the 7th round a couple months ago. So there we go. So well, Darren.
Yeah.
Why don't you kick this off? Let's start with some over under totals. And what are your thoughts here?
All right. Well, I'm going to start by crapping on the ACC because apparently that's what we do.
You do.
First of all, I'm going to just say this. Some of these win total bets I'm not firing on until probably after week 1 because we all know from watching college football and pro football for that matter, week 1, when it's over, let's all overreact. So I'm hoping that a couple of these plays, team maybe does not perform as well or as poorly as we thought they would come week 1 and maybe get a better number. But I did fire on one of my 3 picks already. This was not it. I am leaning Duke under 5.5 wins. You can get that at plus 100 at FanDuel. Duke's early season schedule, not very challenging. They start out at home against Elon. Okay, so there's a win. Then they go on the road to Northwestern. I like what Northwestern's been doing. Coach David Braun got them headed in the right direction from 8 wins last year with a bowl victory from 1 win the year before. I think Duke's going to struggle to win that game. They'll beat UConn at home. They'll beat Middle Tennessee State on the road. But once you start to get into ACC play, here's their next 7 games: North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Florida State, SMU, Miami, North Carolina State, and Virginia Tech. Those last 5 they are going to lose those 5. NC or North Carolina and Georgia Tech, toss-ups either way. Maybe they split there. That's a 7-game stretch where they could easily go 1-6. I mean, they're starting with a whole new coaching staff. Manny Diaz coming in, replacing Mike Elko. Their defense, which was their calling card last year, out of the 8 starters they have coming back, only 3 of them are on the defensive side of the ball. So expect some regression there. They do get Malik Murphy transferring over from Texas, and he's still kind of unproven, even when he did play, when he did get some first-team reps later in the year, when Ewers was hurt. Not very good statistically, 56% completions, 3 TDs, 3 picks. His growth is going to be big to see how far this team goes. But even with that last game, road tilt at Wake Forest, I don't see them getting any more than 5 wins here. So my first lean under 500, and you can get even money over at FanDuel. So that's where I'm looking at for my first play.
Very interesting, Pete.
All right, so what I decided to do is stay in the Big Ten, just because it is my wheelhouse, and over-unders are my wheelhouse. So my first one is I didn't fire on this one yet, but it does align with my conference discussion. So Iowa is my first pick here. Over-under is 7.5, minus 122 on the over side of that. I do think that the overside's a pretty safe bet. If you look across the first 4 games, Illinois State, Iowa State, Troy, Minnesota, 4 wins. They're going to lose to Ohio State in week 5. And then after that, I think they got at least 3 wins in a row. Washington, Michigan State, Northwestern. I think getting to 8 is not a problem. I actually think they'll get to 9 is where I think they will land. I mean, we've talked about it before. That defense is really good, especially at home. And so any home game, I don't care who they play, they have a chance of beating. And even on the road, when they're playing some of these lesser teams, that defense is just a beast. So I really like Iowa. I think this is a really good bet. I'm not betting it yet because I have a better one later. But there's absolutely no issue betting on Iowa right now at over 7.5.
I like that one as well. That was actually, we were talking earlier in the week. We both had that. I was like, all right, well, there's 134 teams. We probably shouldn't go in with the same one. I was like, you were on Iowa first winning the conference. I'm like, you can have them. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. 17 returning starters. That offense was so bad, and they still won 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally be on that as well.
Well, I'm going to go with a new team in a new conference. I'm going with the Oklahoma Sooners. Brand new to the SEC. They are at 7.5 wins. I'm going over. I got it at plus 100 on DraftKings. I looked at their schedule. Now they got, I thought it was a typo. At first they have Maine, Temple, I believe I saw on there. A lot of winnable games. They have 9 games that are either at home or on a neutral site. Against Texas. Then, they're on the road. They're only at Missouri, at Ole Miss. They have a tough game against LSU, but I think they'll have their 7 wins at hand by then. Just looking at the schedule, it's very manageable. I think their first tough game may be against Tennessee, but it's at home. I think they got 3, dare I say, gimme games right off the rip. So can they find 4 or 5 more wins through the season? I think they do. We got the Lane Kiffin factor against Ole Miss, Ray's favorite team there. But I like OU to get more than 7.5 wins to go along with our one comment on the YouTube's video. Says that they beat a lot of top 10 teams in year 2 from a new coach. So I'm going with it. I think it's easy and you're getting plus money. So let's go. Sooners.
I agree. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think if it was Jackson Arnold, I believe, continues to progress. I know he had a slow start against Arizona in the bowl game, but came on the second half. So a lot of young quarterbacks taking over for some established programs. Yeah, I mean, if he grows, yeah, that should be a cash.
So, Daron, what you got next, my man?
All right, man, this one's going to make you happy. I like the Kansas Jayhawks over 8.5 wins. If you want the 8.5, you can actually get a nice plus 138 at FanDuel. If you want the nice whole number, you can get 8 at DraftKings at minus 125. Again, much like when I broke this team down, this all depends on Jalen Daniels. I mean, if this dude stays healthy, the schedule is really, really favorable. Obviously, there is concern about his health. The offensive coordinator left to go to Penn State. Devin Neal's back at running back. He had almost 1,300 yards and 16 rushing touchdowns. They get UNLV and Iowa State at home. Both had pretty decent years last year. I'm not sure if UNLV can repeat that, but they were certainly a surprise from the Mountain West. I do like Iowa State. I could potentially see that as a toss-up. The only tough road games, you got the rivalry game with Kansas State, obviously. You go to West Virginia. Yeah, I've read some stuff where people are thinking maybe West Virginia's in for a good year. I don't see it. But the important thing is they miss Arizona, they miss Texas Tech, they miss Oklahoma State, and they miss Utah. So there is, I could see this being a 9, maybe a 10-win team if Daniel stays healthy. So I like Kansas over 8.5.
That's a nice one. I like that one, dude. Can you get the quarterback insurance from DraftKings at all?
I mean, it was his back last year, it was his shoulder the year before, but when the dude's on the field, man, he's legit like Heisman material. It's just a matter of like, dudes, use Velcro shoes or something so you don't hurt yourself tying them. I don't know what he needs to do, but between the back and the shoulder, come on, man, just stay on the field.
Come on, man, you can do it.
He can do it. I mean, they could be a playoff team if that dude can actually make
it.
For 12
yeah,
games.
I mean, he's that good. There's no question he's that good. So, all right, man, Pete, let's keep it rolling.
All right. So let's talk about one of my favorite coaches to beat on, which we're going to talk about Penn State. So always fun to talk about over under 9.5. I don't
Tim, this is where we can take a 10-minute break and grab a snack.
You can go have a beer or something. You're great. So James Franklin couldn't win not more than 9 games it's not happening, dude. So if you look at these numbers, so I was going through the schedule. So they're going to run the first 5 probably, I would imagine. That is West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, and UCLA. Then they have USC and Wisconsin. I put a question mark next to both of those, and I'll tell you why in a second. Let me just move forward from there. So they're going to lose to Ohio State. I have absolutely zero doubt about that. Mr. Buckeye out there, fan. I'm a Wolverine, but you guys are going to be beasts this year. I do clearly recognize this, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Penn State's not beating Ohio State this year. Penn State's going to win the last 3 games, Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. So essentially it leaves them 3 open games, right, to get to 2 of those wins, which are USC, Wisconsin, and Washington. They need 2 of the 3 to get above 9.5. James Franklin will absolutely crap the bed in 2 of those games. Spin the wheel, pick the games. It doesn't matter. I have Wisconsin down because they are not going to Wisconsin and beating them there because James Franklin will do something idiotic. That one is out. That's a loss.
I would say Wisconsin and USC are the games. I mean,
that's it.
Down. Yeah, Washington's they've lost so much. I don't even know what.
But still, they're a decent team. Yeah, they're in rebuilding, but it's later in the year, so it's still one of those games where they definitely should not lose. But that man could find a way to lose it. So 9.5. I love the under all day long. Plus 140 on that. I did not play it because I have a better bet later, but that is absolutely an excellent bet to go forward with.
Sweet. I'm going to finish this off because, as you know what I always say, it's all about the U. So we got Miami -9 or under 9 wins is what I'm going to play. They get plus 105. For one reason, I'm going to root against them anyway, so I might as well have some money on it. 2, you got the crystal ball factor. I saw there was a scouting report I believe you sent where it's like the only question about Miami is on the sidelines. So there's the James Franklin factor on at least 1 or 2 of those games. Like I said, they usually start to falter, mid-October, mid to late October. So that's about 7 wins. So I think they'll get 7 or 8 wins max. I don't think they're going to get to 9 wins. But they're back and they're gonna win the championship and all that, and all the Miami fans go crazy. And it's that time of year again. Darren's shaking his head. I'm like, no.
Well,
no.
just because somebody in the room's got Virginia Tech winning the ACC already locked in. That's me, by the way. So I'm on board.
Well, does Virginia Tech play Miami?
They do.
Well, that's one of their wins. Congratulations.
I had that pegged as one of their losses, but I hope you're right because they're like 8.5 point dog at Miami for that game. So be Kyron Drone's coming out party.
Oh, whatever.
And then when he beats Clemson later on in the year at Blacksburg with Enter Sandman blasting through the stadium.
I want to go to a game there. I got friends that are alumni from there. I want to get up there for a game.
Nice.
That's a fun place for a game. So, all right. Well, Darren, why don't you wrap this up and review what we got going on here?
Well, I'm not going to wrap it up because some of us came with 3 plays.
Oh, you guys did your homework.
I didn't even have my best play yet.
Yeah, we haven't even put in the plays we've actually bet on already. So this one I did fire on. There's no sense waiting for week 1 here. Yesterday, I fired on UCLA under 5.5 wins. You can get that at the standard -110 juice, FanDuel, or DraftKings. So here's what I don't like about UCLA, and this might take a while. First of all, only 9 returning starters, 4 of them on the defense, and UCLA had an excellent defensive team last year, but they lost people to the portal. They lost 3 players to the NFL. The defense not looking good. Oh, and by the way, your defense coordinator left to go to USC. So you're working in a new defensive coordinator. You're working in a new offensive coordinator. But I do like that because that's Eric Bieniemy. And if there's one thing that dude can do, it's figure out how to get some offense. New head Deshaun Buster, who's never head coached a game in his life. And jumping into the Big Ten, maybe not the best way to roll. I don't think he's gonna have some Cristobal moments, but I think he's gonna learn on the job. So I'm not a fan of that hire at the moment. Ethan Garbers, the QB, kind of like him, but Dante Moore did leave, transferred to Oregon. So behind him, who knows what they have. So the first 2 games, they go to Hawaii. And let me just say one quick thing about Hawaii. If any of you guys are looking at Mountain West win totals, there's a rule where any team that goes to Hawaii can actually play a 13th game during the regular season. So, normally these bets are based on regular season wins. A lot of these teams play 12 games, but there are a few that play 13. So if you're looking at the Mountain West for any win totals, check the schedule first just to make sure, you've got that extra game in there to worry about. So after Hawaii, they actually get the week off, due to the travel, then home against Indiana. They should win both those. They're already like a 17-point favorite at Hawaii. As much as I want Hawaii to beat them, don't see it. Here's your next 3: at LSU, home against Oregon, and at Penn State. All right, so those 3 teams are all legit, like top 15 teams as it is, but just look at the travel. So you're home against Indiana, then you got to travel all the way to Louisiana, then you got to come all the way back to take on Oregon, then you get to go all the way back across the country to get Penn State. I'm like, that's 3 losses right there. Then, middle of the conference schedule, Minnesota at Rutgers. Now you got to fly from California all the way to like literally the other side of the country. And I like Rutgers. I think they're going to be good. Then at Nebraska, who I also like. Home against Iowa, who Pete mentions got one of the best defenses in the country. And then your last 3 at Washington. Tim mentioned, they're rebuilding. Home against USC and home against Fresno State, who I also like. So I don't see where 6 wins are coming for this bet to lose. 4, maybe 5 if you're lucky. But this one I fired on. I just don't see how they're going to become bowl eligible and get to 6 wins. So I already locked in a unit on under here. Again, standard 110 juice, FanDuel, DraftKings. That bet is locked. UCLA under 5.5.
Oh, a lot of research on that one. That one can't fail.
Well, I had that one I knew I was firing on. So, I figured I better come with some knowledge.
I mean, Eric Bieniemy knows how to get offense, and it's basically just get Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and then throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. Okay, go.
The problem is not going to be, they'll have some offensive issues, but defensively, they lost so much, and your defense coordinator is gone. So now, I just don't see how they're going to pick up where they left off. Maybe against Hawaii and Iowa or in Indiana, somebody might like, they're 2-0. Maybe you can get a 6.5 after those 2 games. But if that's the case, I'll bet it again. I don't care.
Double dipping.
That's right.
All right, Pete, finish this out since you guys are the only ones that have 3.
All right. So anybody who listens to this Carnival by now knows that I'm a Wolverine. So I already gave props to the Buckeyes today. So don't wait for that to happen again anytime soon. So I'm going to go down the path a little more and say that my next one are the Michigan State Spartans, right? A team that as Wolverines we love to beat on, and is a team that's been in very dire straits for a number of years here. Mel Tucker was a disaster, all kinds of issues there. But this is a team, this is a Big Ten team, and this is a team that can recruit. I mean, when Mark D'Antonio was there, this is clearly a team that can compete and can compete at a high level. They can recruit and they can compete, right? So if you have the right guy there, the right coach there, it can be all the difference in the world. When they hired Jonathan Smith, I thought it was a fantastic hire for them. I think he is the right coach for them at this point. He can recruit there. It will be a good team again. It's going to take some time, right? And so I didn't have any lofty expectations of Sparty this year. However, when you look at the over-under, it's at 4.5. To me, that is a very low number. And why I say that, if you look, so their first 4 games, Florida Atlantic, Maryland, Prairie View, and Boston College, the worst they come out of that is 2-2. I expect to come out 3-1. But they certainly, the worst case scenario, 2-2. I look further in the schedule, and I'm expecting them to get better as the year progresses, right? With Jonathan Smith kind of bringing in his coaching and his expertise. If you look later in the year, the last 4 games, Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, and Rutgers, I think they win at least 3 of those, if not all 4. So I actually have them pegged for at least 6, probably 6 wins. So I love the over on that 4.5. I think it is a no-brainer. To me, the team is, obviously they've had issues. They've had a number of issues, but they do have some decent players there. They will continue to evolve. They have the right coach. So this is one that I did bet on today. It is at minus 154 for over 4.5. And as I said, I did play that today because I feel pretty confident, even more confident than Iowa. And anybody who listened to our Big Ten conference show knows that I'm pretty confident in Iowa. I feel more confident in this pick. I think this is an excellent pick. This number is way too low and something that you definitely should consider.
Michigan State from the Wolverine.
I know, Buckeyes and Sparty today. I should probably just quit and leave. This is never.
I was going to say, who are you?
I don't know what's going on here.
We brought you on to make sense.
If there were 4 teams, I was going to bash my own team a little bit, but we're not going to go there today because somebody might just stroke out. So we're good.
Okay.
Anybody have any other that they were considering that didn't make the list? I know me personally, I was looking at Nebraska over.
I was looking at them too.
Were you? Okay. Yeah. I mean, Matt Rule year 2.
That's what you always say. I'm like, well, do we bet on Matt Rule?
Dylan, that Dylan Raiola guy, man, real deal. That schedule, they can go 6-0 right out of the gate. So,
and the turnover machine is gone. Where'd he go? Arizona?
Gone. Who cares?
I know he was supposed to go to Miami, so I was like, oh, cool. Send him to Miami. And then, I think he went to Arizona State, maybe. I forget.
Who knows?
Hey, I just alluded to, right? Michigan's 9.5 over under. I'm under all day on that. I can see 8 clear wins, 7 clear wins. So they need to win between Sparty, Oregon, and OSU. They need to win 2 or 3 of those to get above that number. They're not beating OSU. I think they could lose to Oregon. And even though Sparty's not good, every now and again that team steps up and beats us. It's just one of those interstate rivalry things. So, we are due to get beat up this year. The target's on our back. It's going to happen. So I like the under on that 9.5. As much as I hate to say it, I don't want to watch it, but I think it's a pretty decent play.
They always have.
What the hell happened to Pete, man?
I'm done. I'm
crashing his own team and loves everybody else in the Big Ten.
You mentioned that thing. I had a flashback. I just remember that block punt at the end of the game.
Yeah, right. Yes. Trouble with the snap. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, we could see that happen again this year, unfortunately. So it's just going to be one of those years. But I'm okay. You know what? I'm a Colts fan. After the Colts won the Super Bowl, I didn't give a crap what they did for 2 years. They got a free pass. Same here. The Wolverines can do anything they want for 2 years. I'm good.
You got the natty, so that's all I can.
We're good.
No.
And we cashed it, so it's just even better.
That's right. That's what's more.
That's right.
We made money on those guys.
Right. We did.
So back to show 1. So all right, we are going to wrap it up there. A lot shorter this time. I think our last couple shows.
And you don't have a 36-team conference to break down. We can get these done in under 30 minutes. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed on FanDuel, the group of 5 odds
Yes, that's our next
has
show.
finally
baby.
hit. So we got 5 more shows.
We got the Mac, baby.
And they won't take as long to break down because these teams are like normal and only have like 10 or 12 team conferences.
Yeah, the Mac is fun. Can't wait.
Very excited.
Oh yeah, that midweek Maction. Looking forward to September.
I can't bet on Buffalo, so hopefully Buffalo doesn't appear to me as a team that can win. Otherwise, I have to funnel Pete some money. Like, dude, I need Buffalo.
We're gonna wrap it up right there. Pete's got big dinner reservations at the Red Lobster, so he's got to get out of here real quick.
Didn't they go bankrupt? Yeah, whatever.
Well, you got to get there quick before they run out of them biscuits or whatever, right?
That's right.
So,
Yeah, you can buy those
again,
in the
folks,
store. That's why they went bankrupt. They started selling their biscuits in the store. Nobody
That's
bothered
right.
to go anymore.
So here we go. We're going to cut it off there. Thank you all for listening. You could email us at cfbdudes@yahoo.com. You can find us on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also now find us on YouTube. Targeting Winners is the name of the channel. Please like it, subscribe. We thank you all for listening. And we hope you have a great week. And we'll see you next time with the Group of 5.